What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back to the Tuffy Talk live show, y'all. We are rolling. We are excited as we are again even closer, y'all, to the beginning of the football season. Let's go. Greg, how many days we at now, man? How many minutes? How many hours?
It's you know what? Give me a second. Keep going.
I think it's 17.
Yeah, I think we're at 17 now. But I wanted the hours and the minutes. I know Greg's got the countdown. So
I've got the count.
So what is it? Oh, Greg, you and now I'm echoing. Greg, you're muted, bud. Sorry, folks. What is going on here? Anybody? Hey, Hunter, you hear that echo too, bud? Because now Greg can't hear anymore. Do I still hear it? Do you hear me, Kens?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. So
I don't hear it echo anymore.
Yeah, no.
It was great.
That was weird. Yeah, it sounded crazy. Yeah, sorry about that, Hunter. Don't know what happened there, man. That was weird.
Hey, thank you, Hunter. I appreciate it.
But yeah, Ken. So first of all, so how did you turn today, Ken's 21?
25.
Wow.
It's my quarter life crisis.
Oh man. All right. Well, what'd you do today? What'd you do today for your birthday?
Worked.
Right.
Everybody, I hate having my birthday on a Monday because everybody's busy.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing people throughout the week this week. And then I guess just spending my birthday during the tailgate at football. A lot of people are going to be there.
There we go. Michael, you got me, bud?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on, man? All right, Greg, you got me now, bud?
I do. I had to use my phone and the AirPods went crazy, and this is what happens when you're doing this from a hotel.
Yeah, it was so weird because it was like echoing us too. Like it was so weird. But so what was the countdown, Greg? How many days, how many hours, how many minutes?
Yeah, so we're at 16 days, 23 hours, and about 51 minutes, and about probably I'll go 48 seconds.
Let's go. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Well, first of all, again, Kens, happy birthday for sure, and we'll definitely be getting you all the shout, especially for you deciding to spend your birthday evening here, at least an hour of your birthday with us. So we appreciate it. So with that being said, y'all, so again, today we're going to be talking a little bit about 2024 NC State football season, a little bit of predictions and hot takes submitted by you, the fans, and we'll be talking about them here today. So basically how it's going to work is that for every hot take, we're going to do it from a 1 to 10 scale. 1 being like, that's not much of a reach. Like, yeah, that's probably going to happen. 10 being like the stars and the comments would need to align.
Did he freeze? Did I lose him?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was mine.
I thought it was me.
Oh.
So anyway, so as soon as Leighton comes back, we'll do some hot takes. But okay, so Ken's 25th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
What would you want for your birthday? Just go ahead and say it. We know what you want to say.
I want to win a natty.
There you
That's what I want for my birthday.
There you go.
I'll lower it down some. I want to win the ACC.
Okay. There you go.
I'll make it more like realistic.
Well, I mean, hey, we'll talk about it. Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. Again, yeah, today's just been this live stream so far. It's had all kinds of different technical.
That's all right. I took it and ran with it till you got back, so we're good, brother. Let's go.
Okay, so 1 being like not much of a reach, like it's probably going to happen. 10 being like the stars would have to align, like is the longest shot of all time.
Or like when you're talking hot take, that would be like a volcano exploding lava hot, right?
Correct.
That'd be the hottest of hot takes.
That'd be like UNC having the #1 defense in all of college football. Hot.
Now I just know you're smoking something.
That's what I'm saying. That is a 10. That is a like every team would have to do to stop playing, basically. Like so
the Carolina Panthers airplane would have to run off the runway. Wait, that already happened.
Chill out.
Ooh, hey, man, Greg going for a little bit of a jugular there. So I like it. All right, and then obviously for everybody in the chat too, make sure again to put y'all's gradings as well. And again, I'll remind you of kind of the scale of how it works before each one as well. So the first one which is a little bit of a longer one, but I think it's a good one. So the 2024 NC State defense will allow less yards per game than the 2023 NC State defense. And they basically explained it saying due to improved secondary, reloaded defensive line, and soft schedule. So, Ken, since it's your birthday, we're going to give you the first crack. So, again, 1 being not much of reach at all, 10 being the cosmic entities left to line. Where are you putting this hot take?
I'd probably say 3 or 4.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because from what I've heard, Sean Brown is really stepping into Peyton's footsteps. Like, obviously, we're not going to have another Peyton Wilson, but I've heard Sean Brown has really shown out during fall camp. A lot of other guys have. So I think there's a chance to do it, especially with the D-line we have with Van back. But I don't think the schedule is that soft. A lot of people have said that, but I really just don't think it's as soft as a lot of people say. I think there are a lot of trap games in there for us. So I'm not 100%.
And just to give a little bit of context too, and Michael, I'll let you get in here next. But so last year we averaged giving up 314 yards per game, which was 30th in the country. So I mean, so what's your rating for this, Michael?
I think I'd say it's a little higher. That's a higher, around a 6. I'd say that's a little high on the high side. Just, with honestly, the reason I think our defense will allow more is because our offense will be better. So, we're going to be scoring more and hopefully scoring more. And that's going to lead to probably higher scoring games than we've seen in the past couple of years. Yeah. Even if the defense, still is, I think the defense will still be good, but, I think it will take a step back just because of the way that hopefully our offense is running.
Yeah. Greg, what's your rating for this hot take, man?
Yeah, I was leaning 6 Flames as well.
Yeah.
I'm not worried too much about the yardage. It's the points, right? You can give up 1,000 yards, but if you only give up 10 points, again, a lot of hyperbole there. But our red zone defense was so good last year. It was definitely a bend, don't break. But I think to Michael's point, if you're scoring on 4 or 5 plays, you're putting your defense right back out there. You're giving the other offense more possessions. I think there's going to be a lot more possessions in these games this year, and some of that might be just the rules. But I think it's gonna. I don't think we're going to be as good as far as that part of the defense. But I still think our scoring defense will be solid.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like last year, rushing games wise, we were 24th in the country, giving up 116.5 rushing yards per game, while passing yards per game we were like 43rd in the country. So I kind of put this as I'm in between a 4 and a 5. So I'm going to pull a Barstool and I'm going to do a 4.6. I'm pulling Dave Portnoy and do a 4.6.
Take a stand.
I know, right? I know. So basically I'm leaning more towards the 5 than the 4 is basically what I'm doing. But so the reasons why is, so first of all, with any Tony Gibson defense, like they've always prided themselves on stopping the run first and foremost.
Yeah.
That's just always been a thing they've been really good at, being top 25, even sometimes top 10 in the country every single year. So then it comes down to, okay, what are we going to do passing the ball wise? And again, like we've talked about it, and we'll talk about some more in our season prediction previews, like our season record predictions. And but I mean, just we're so deep and just have so much talent across the board in the secondary that, I mean, it's just obvious that we know that, that just like you said, Michael, that we're going to be scoring hopefully a good amount more points than we did last year. And so therefore, we're going to force teams to have to try and go score on us more and quicker and commit less to running the ball, more to passing the ball. So, yeah, I mean, I would say it's not necessarily a reach, just because I think, honestly, this defense has a much better opportunity to be, I think, more well-rounded than last year's team. Last year's team with the secondary safety-wise, there was, a few injuries that definitely forced some guys to step in that didn't have a lot of experience. But now there's going to be experience across the board, even if we do have to suffer through a couple injuries, knock on wood. And then linebacking wise, there's a lot of options there. Defensive line, there's options there. So, again, I in terms of better, it's going to be tough, but in terms of allow less yards per game, I see that. It's possible, but yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for sure, just because last year's defense was so elite. So again, it'll be exciting to see what happens with it. But Hunter, appreciate you tuning in, man. Saying happy birthday, Kansas. Hope your day is amazing. Sorry I'm late. So yeah. So all right. So with that being said, let's move on to our next one, y'all. So we have 3 first-round picks in Davin Van, Kevin Concepcion, and Noah Rogers over the next 2 seasons. So Mackenzie, it's your birthday. We're gonna keep giving you the first opportunity. Where are you putting this? 1 being this is a layup, no doubt about it. 10 being cosmic entities up to the line.
Realistically, or my actual?
No, what do you actually put this? Now, what your heart's telling you, what you actually say.
I'd say I'm right in the middle, a 5.
Okay. I mean, kind of break it down. What do you think? Like who out of those 3, Davin Van, Casey, and Noah, do you think is the least likely to be a first-round pick?
Least likely, and this is gonna sound so bad, but I don't mean for it to. Probably Noah, because I mean he hasn't really. Wow. He doesn't have a lot of. I mean, Davin and Casey have a lot of film to show for this, but like last season, Noah didn't really ball out at Ohio State. Not saying he's not going to ball out for us. Like, I really think he will. But,
yeah. Well, a lot of that just was opportunity. I mean, he had to.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, that's usually what they'll look at. And Casey, with everybody else we have on offense, like last year, that was our go-to guy. Like, he had to do everything. Like, we were always focused on him. So I think with all the people that we have on offense right now, I think that could bring down some of his. Now, don't get me wrong. Casey is one of the most talented human beings I've ever seen on the offensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. So I think he's definitely going to ball out. But I'm saying that like there are more targets now where he's not just by himself. But Davin, he's the leader of that entire D-line. He's the leader of that defense, basically. Like he had to step into that leadership role after Peyton left. And out of all of them, I think Davin is definitely going to be a first-round pick. Casey, most likely. Noah, I want to see how this year goes.
Yeah. So Michael, I'll let you answer, and then Greg, if you could pick up right after him. I need to go get one prop to help me with this hot take right here. So Michael, you go first, and then Greg, you follow up right after him.
I feel like you're coming back with a blowtorch.
Basically.
No, I think that this is probably a pretty hot one for me. I think honestly the player most likely to be a first-round pick on our team, I think, is what people have been saying in the comments. I think it's Anthony Belton, really.
Yeah. I mean, his size is just like he's like size.
His measurables,
right, yeah, and that's I think kind of what hurts. Like I don't think Davin Van will be a first-round pick, but Casey and Noah definitely could be. I don't think Van will be, just because like kind of the opposite of Belton. He's just undersized for the NFL.
Yeah, I give this an 8 flames. Now Davin Van has some freak ability, and like his measurables are crazy. I could see him going to the compound if he gets the invite and just blowing it up.
The compound?
Combine. Good gosh, it's been a long day, guys. I'm so sorry. I've been teaching all day. Yes, the combine. Mm-hmm. He could turn some heads there and maybe shoot up some boards. I think the problem with Davin Van is that we run that 3-3-5, and they don't know what to do with our D linemen because they don't play traditional spots. Like D ends for us are essentially a D tackle.
Yeah, he would be a defensive tackle in the NFL,
and he would be kind of undersized for that.
Right.
So in a weird way, I would say none of these guys would be a first-round pick as of like right now within the next 2 years. I think Casey is amazing. He's undersized. You can maybe compare him a little bit to Tyreek Hill, but the skill set's not the same, at least not yet. But I think all 3 are serviceable in the NFL, so that's why I'm going 8 flames.
Yeah. So obviously, like I think that if the hot take was just simply we have 3 first-round draft picks in on this roster in the next 2 that will go in the first round over the next 2 seasons, it'd probably be like a 5 for me. Like, I there's options for sure that I think, could impress
AB
at that level.
100%. He's gone first
Yeah.
round.
Oh yeah. As long as he can stay healthy. But being that they specifically call out Davin Van, Casey, and Noah Rogers, since we don't have Macon here to do it, I have to do it myself. But like flaming hot. Like I'm saying,
flaming hot Cheetos hot.
like I'm saying like 9.
Yeah.
I'm saying like
9.
I'm saying
I said
9.
8. I said 8.
Yeah.
So I was leaving even higher.
No,
I didn't want to be completely disrespectful.
And just more with it's so first of all, I actually say that of these 3 guys, I think Noah Rogers has the best shot to get drafted in the first round. And that's more because his measurables, like you look at him, you look at his skill set, you look at his build, he is a prototypical, not necessarily star, but productive NFL wide receiver. Like he just fits the mold. He's quick, he's fast, he has great hands. He's 6'5", 6'6", something like that. He's stupid tall.
Yeah, prototypical.
He's so prototypical. So, and then after that, I actually would say KC. Even that's like, just first round is just tough for me. Just because again, size wise,
it's hard to go first round.
Like to me, like my comparison, honestly, to KC is like a better Jacoby Myers. Where. Build wise, they're typically same. They both catch everything. They're playmakers. KC is, I believe, faster.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Myers, I would say, is more agile. But again, just both playmakers, but also too that they're kind of a little bit of a gamble. You know what I mean? That their size could work out in the NFL if they, build their game properly to making sure that they're sustainable in the NFL, but it's going to take a little bit. And then Davin Van, he's going to definitely have to take a step forward, and he has to have some really, really good stats, which is going to be tough because we do have a few options on this defensive line. I think Brandon Cleveland's going to have a really big year. You still got Hibbler, you still got Trevally Price, you still got a couple other guys like Noah Potter that could break out even too. So it's just going to be tough, for him to kind of stand out above the rest to be a first round draft pick.
The one thing I would say though, the difference between Noah and KC is they're both receivers, and they do depend on a quarterback getting them the ball to help them develop. Davin goes 1-on-1, 2-on-1, so he kind of makes his own path, if you will.
Yep.
I think all these players are going to get drafted. I don't think that's a question. I just don't see it in the first round. I could see it in the first 3 rounds, though.
No, absolutely. I would say, KC in the first 3 rounds. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Again, because even they were saying last year as a freshman that he's one of the most, exciting and one of the most, well-rounded, talents in college football. But I think a lot of it had to do with opportunity. So we'll see this year if even though he has less opportunity, can he still stay just as efficient to still put up really, really good stats? So that's the thing that we'll see.
And I think Davin can break out this year. I honestly do. He's put on some weight. He was rated as one of the freakish athletes. So I think he's there for it.
Not even his size, like his personality has completely switched up. Like he was so quiet last year, and like his years here, like he was like the one that would always like stand in the corner and listen to Peyton or listen to Drake. And now he's the one that's actually like going out there and leading the guys.
It's his team.
Yeah, it really is. It's his defense. He's the leader. And I think that's really going to give him that extra step to go off this year.
Yep. And don't worry, Colby Hunter, we'll talk a little bit about Grayson here in a second. But this hot take is actually going to kind of piggyback off of the hot take we just talked about, which is that Davin Van will lead the ACC in sacks this year. So, Kens, if it's okay with you, I'd love to ask Michael first what his thought is.
I think that's a pretty hot one too. I mean, it's just the defense we play, right? Defensive ends don't get that many sacks. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. So where are you putting that numbers wise again? One,
I'd say that's
like
an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kens, what you got?
I'd say a 9.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty bold.
I mean, there are just some crazy defensive players in the ACC. I mean, that's just a lot of competition. Like the entire ACC, bringing in an SMU, Stanford, and Cal, like that's just adding even more really talented defensive players. So,
yeah,
I just don't think has one of our DNs ever led the ACC in sacks? Have we ever had a DN?
I feel like Chubb might have.
Chubb probably.
Right,
yeah.
but that was
Mario
in a not in the 3-3-5 though.
Yeah.
Correct. I think Mario led the ACC.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, just
again,
your
totally different. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But just your point, I mean, the AC alone, you have Ashton Galat, if I'm saying that correctly, who last year had 11 sacks, had 14 half tackles for loss, 45 tackles, was a first team All ACC, and he had second and third team All American honors, which is top 10 in the country in every single one of those categories, and he's right now projected as second rounder. And then you have Kamon Rucker as well, who
can you pause there for a second?
Go for it.
That guy that you just mentioned is projected as a second rounder. And those numbers are way better than what Davin Van did. Again, not a slide at Davin Van at all. So it just kind of goes back to that previous question that we just did. So
absolutely. Yeah, no, exactly right. So, but again, Kamon Rucker, who I'm not really that high on. I definitely know our guy Philip Danford isn't that high on, but at the end of the day, he's still going into season after having 8.5 sacks last year in 2023, second team All ACC. So yeah, and again, just like you said, especially because one other thing that kind of goes against us too with the 3-3-5 is opportunities for double teams. And because especially with our defense, especially on passing downs, Gibson loves to either like bring the house or rush 3. That's typically he's usually going one extreme or the other. It's not typically 4 or 5. So just how many opportunities is Davin really going to have? To go one-on-one and try and win, but we'll see. Colby in the chat here saying calling it Van will average 10 sacks a game. I'm not delusional. Hey, that's a hot
take.
That's like 13. So yeah,
that's 130. That's 130 sacks.
That's a 13 on the scale. Hot take. 10 sacks a game. Yeah. But and then Chilton saying, I don't think Van will lead our team in sacks. I mean, yeah, I actually my money would be on Red Hibbler. I think that dude's going to be ridiculous this year. I think he's going to be really, really good. So looking forward to him. Greg, did you give your?
I didn't.
Go for it.
I'm wavering between 8 and 9, and I'm probably going to take the 9.
Yeah, agreed there. So, but
because
again,
the other thing, like the way, like you just talked about Tony Gibson, like he loves the blitz, right? And those sacks that are getting taken up are usually by your safety or your linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
The D line typically takes on, like you said, double team blocks, eats up blocks, frees up blocks, or frees up holes for the line, or for the blitzer. I would say that Van will probably get 7 to 9 sacks.
Okay.
How many did he have last season?
I want to say 6.
So I think was it 5.5, 6?
Yeah, I'm looking up right now. I should have already had that, honestly. Last year he had 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
So and that was his career high too. Was 5.5 last year. So, just to kind of go. So you're basically asking him to over double his career.
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to double and then some change because I think 12 to 14 sacks is what's going to end up leading the ACC.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's possible.
It is possible, but yeah, it's definitely again the not necessarily the cosmic entities about the line, but like
here's the thing: if he leads the ACC in sacks, we win the ACC.
Easily. Yeah,
I want him to lead the
that's
ACC
my hot
in
take.
Sacks against Clemson. I want him to get 14 sacks, Clemson alone.
I would love that.
I want to beat them so bad,
especially in Death Valley.
Right?
We owe them one down there.
So bad.
Oh yeah. But all right. So moving on to our next one here. But Jordan Waters will be top 10 in the country in rushing touchdowns and yards per rush. So Greg, what you got for this one?
Gosh, I'm being brutal tonight. I love NC State, and I'm a homer, but I'm also like a realistic homer. This
That's where
is
we differ.
I'm gonna yeah, it's exactly where we differ. I'm gonna go an 8 Flames again, and the reason I'm gonna say that is I think a lot of the touchdowns are gonna get taken by Duke Scott. I think he's gonna be when we get down to short yardage. I think Waters may not get as many carries down there. I could even see Hollywood getting some of those. We have so many good running backs. I just don't think he's going to get the touches that he's going to need to end up in both of these categories.
Yeah, agree there. Yeah, and I mean, to be top 10 in the country, at least in just rushing, like last year, top 10, I think number 10 was Marshawn Lloyd from USC, and he averaged 7.05 rushes, 7.05 yards per rush. So,
that's
how many total yards did he have? How many yards did he have?
Marshawn Lloyd, he had 820. He had 116 attempts for 820 yards.
Is this the way NC State does their running backs? I mean, we haven't had 1,000 yards since Reggie Gillespie. That's been a minute. And when we have multiple backs back there, they just don't get the touches. They love to share the load.
Yeah. And I think Reggie Gillespie did that on like 230 carries or something. So
he got half of those during the Carolina game.
That's him.
And he got 5 touchdowns that game. So, I think he had like 15 for the season that year.
He was the only player that had grass stains on his jersey during that entire game.
So I just don't see the opportunity. It's not lack of effort or lack of ability.
Yeah. A lot of these are just opportunity.
Yeah.
See, I think that after us playing Duke last year and what Jordan Waters did to us, I feel like we have to give this man a 6.
Maybe give him 1,000 yards against Duke just for the whole team.
Yeah, just knowing what he did to us. Like, I feel like that's if we say it's like a 9 or a 10, that's disrespectful to the state. So I'm gonna give it a 6. Just because he absolutely annihilated us.
This is not personal. It's about opportunity.
Right.
Unless something crazy happens where he's the bell cow and he just has 300 rushes this year, 400 rushes, I just don't see it. Because here's the thing. I feel like we're going to be very balanced on offense too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even talking about that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just to kind of give a little bit of context too. So last year, once again, Jordan Waters had 153 rushing attempts for 819 yards. So he averaged 5.35 yards a carry and had 12 touchdowns.
So he was almost top 10.
Yeah.
Rushing yards.
And so if he wants to be top 10, he'd have to have at least 15 or 16 rushing touchdowns, at least per what everybody, per what the nation did last year. He'd have to have 3 or 4 more rushing touchdowns than he did last year.
But you just have to remember what Duke had last year. I mean, Duke didn't have that much. So
it's
really dependent on
that's going to bring a lot of states like KC's numbers down, even like just the amount of, and that's not a bad thing, just the amount of talent we have on our team where it's not us going after one person. Like we have a second, third, fourth string guy to come in and can do just as good as the first.
But again, the one big thing though too is that I think with Jordan Waters is that just one for each side. So for the rushing touchdown side, I think that just like you said, those goal line carries are going to be between Jordan Waters and Duke Scott. I think Jordan Waters, if he's hot and if he's playing really well, I think the Doran's going to feed him the ball because again, he's your senior guy. And the last thing you want is some kind of a freshman mistake where he fumbles or Duke fumbles at the goal line. It's the last thing you need. So not necessarily saying that I think he's going to do that, but just, again, he's going to be a freshman. Freshmen make freshman mistakes. And that's a typical freshman mistake is, in between that 10-yard line and that goal line, you got to hold on to the ball. Like there's no excuse for fumbling the ball in that part of the field. And so I think if Jordan's hot, Jordan's going to run with him. It's his last year. Go out with a bang, my brother. But then also too for the rushing yard side, I think like we were saying, I think that defenses are going to have to respect the passing game and respect Grayson as much, if not more, than what he had at Duke. So I think that again, there'll be more opportunity for some lighter boxes, for some easier opportunities to go get 7-8 yards a carry, especially with his build, his agility, his experience. And his knowledge of the game. So I think the opportunity is there. So for me, I'm actually going to do like I'm gonna do a solid 7. Yeah, it's still pretty high just because again we're talking top 10 in the country in both. I mean that's pretty hot, but I mean I'm not seeing it as like a far fetched thing necessarily.
Here's one thing you can look at too. If we get big leads, we probably will try to shorten the game, and so he could
Right.
get
Yeah.
more rushes that way, just to kind of play the devil's advocate on it. But still, it's like you said, it's pretty tough to do both, right? Maybe one or the other. I could probably bring that down, but both is why I'm going higher.
Yeah, agreed. So, all right. But yeah, and Colby in here saying PTSD from the Duke game last year. I broke my chair after that game. Yeah, it was not a fun game. So let's not spend too much more time talking about that.
No.
But all right, last hot take. So Grayson McCall will be in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. So I know Greg's right.
I think that's
the
let's
least
put this way. Hot out of all of these so far for me.
Really? Wow. Dude. All right. So Michael, so what you got? 1 to 10.
Well, we
1 being a layup.
I'd say this is a 4 for me.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about Jordan Waters and him splitting carries, the receivers, KC, Noah, but somebody's got to get all those guys the ball, and there's only one of them. So I think that's a decent. I think it's probably the best chance we have had at getting a quarterback to the Heisman in a while.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree that it's our best chance since Phillip Rivers to have a Heisman Trophy candidate. For just like you said, there's so many options out there, but again, and as we'll talk about here about the AP poll though, people, the voters love name recognition, and so obviously the Ohio State quarterback, I don't even know who it is, like as long as Ohio State has an 11-1 year and whatever, then that quarterback's going to make it more likely to the Heisman Trophy finish,
and that's the other thing, because we do have a chance at maybe 10 11 wins, so you have to have that kind of season too. Even if you're a great quarterback, if you're on a bad team, you're not going to get an invite. So I think that kind of plays in his favor too, that if State wins 10 or 11 games, then
you would have to go 12-1 though. You would have to go 12-1. Like you would have to go win the championship. You would have to go win the AC championship.
Yeah.
And I think that you have to have a Heisman Trophy moment in either the Clemson game or the Tennessee game. Like it would have to be a heck of a performance. Now, I think that again, this guy comes in with all the experience in the world. He's a guy that helped lead a Coastal Carolina football program, which is not known for its football, to being a top 15 program in the country. Now, was it all because of him? No. I mean, he had talent for sure, but not the talent that he has now. This is by far the most talent he's ever had, and he led that Coastal Carolina team again to a top 15 finish. So. And again, 3-time conference player of the year, and again, just like we've seen, like, in order for a quarterback to be a Heisman candidate, he doesn't have to be, the Houdini. He just has to basically have really, really good stats, which I think he can have.
So give me those stats. Right. What is it going to take then?
So I think he'd have to have, he'd have to have probably, between 350 yards per game in terms of rushing. I'm sorry, in terms of passing. In terms of passing.
Well, he would definitely do that if he rushed for that.
In terms of passing.
I mean, somebody's been playing NCAA 25 too much then if you're talking 300 yards rushing.
Yeah. I probably at least 350 yards passing. I think he would have to be effective running the ball. So probably, between passing and rushing touchdowns, I think you got to be in the probably 35 to 40 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
So at least
I think,
and
at least 3,000 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So if you said this is
rushing.
So put it in these terms. We'll just say for argument's sake 36 touchdowns. That means he accounts for 3 touchdowns a game.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And I think if he leads to losing to Tennessee but beating Clemson on the road, having a Heisman moment, playing Florida State in the ACC championship and winning, I think he's in the conversation for sure.
I mean, if we can pull a win out against Tennessee and Clemson.
Oh yeah, no,
Then
if you go 13-0, he better be in the Heisman conversation because he had to have a heck of a year.
Say we beat Tennessee and Clemson, but lose like a trap game like we did a couple years ago to like how we lost to Boston College, like Georgia Tech. Is he still
at that point? But at that point, it's what did he do in that game? If he throws 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions, he's probably going to be out of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
So it just every game's going to be different. If you want my rating, I'm going to give this 8 flames. I just there's just too much. Again, all these. I feel like it almost sounds like I hate this team, but I really don't. It's just.
I don't think you said anything under 6.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember. We'll have to go back and listen to it. But it's just so hard to get these types of things. And, I mean, we saw what we did for Devin Leary. We tried to do a Heisman campaign for that, right?
Yeah, because how that went.
Yeah, and
he got hurt.
No, he did. But where I'm going with this is you have to have some kind of campaign. This is not necessarily the best player of the year award. It's the who's favorite player of the year.
But let me make one point though. The one good thing though that he has going for him is that everybody's going to be watching that Tennessee game. Everybody in the country is going to be watching that Tennessee game, and it's early in the season.
But that's only the first step,
right? But I'm saying he can catch eyes early in the season. He can have the opportunity, and once he catches eyes, if he continues to do what he does, and if we go 12-1 or 13-0, he better be in the conversation, no doubt about it.
That's true. He's got a chance early in the season to make a statement
from a national level. Mm-hmm.
The main worry I have for him is staying healthy. Because I've heard talking to a lot of Coastal Carolina people I know love him and are so glad State has him so they can watch him on like ESPN and channels like that. But they're saying that he's injury prone sometimes. And so since hearing that, I'm like, that scares me. But I also think we have enough offensive line talent to protect him. But that's the only thing that I'm like wishy-washy about for this one.
No, to your point, I mean, last year he had a concussion and then he did his senior day in a walking boot. I don't know what was wrong with him, but he was pretty banged up last year. So, I mean, stars have got to align. Perfect health. I mean, there's so many things that are going against him to make it happen. But I know, Michael, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. Who's more likely to be at the Heisman ceremony? Grayson or KC? No.
Oh.
Say Klubnik.
I thought you were going to go Klubnik. And I'm like, no, don't do this one.
No, don't do this. No, it's got to be Grayson. It's got to be Grayson. I mean,
so that's the greatest question, right? Is it quarterback or wide receiver? Like, because someone's got to get him the ball, but then someone has to catch it. So who do you give the credit to?
And there's only one QB.
It's a QB's award.
It's a QB's award. Yeah. The only way that a wide receiver gets is if you're Devontae Smith, where you have basically 20 touchdowns and 1,500 yards receiving. But I mean, again, look at Joe Burrow. He had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase on his team, and he won the Heisman Trophy. And Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson weren't even a consideration for the Heisman in terms of talk.
Yeah,
it was all Joe Burrow. So that's why I'm sitting here, because I'm like, bro, but I think honestly, one hot take for me. This is gonna be a hot take for me. My hot take. I want to get y'all's thoughts on it. So here, I'll bring this down. But I think that the receiving touchdown leader is going to be Justin Jolie.
I agree. That's not even a hot take. That's not even a hot. I give that a 1.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
He's different.
Yeah.
He's different. And he has that confidence in him too, that he's talking to him outside of off of social media and stuff. He's ready. He's like, I'm ready for ice to be on me because UConn, it didn't happen. So I think he's going to take full advantage of that.
I mean, again, there's a reason why he even had some conversations to him from Tennessee even too. Cause I mean, cause
he burned them last year.
Cause he was the only guy that burned Tennessee in that UConn game was Justin Jolie. I mean, and by the way too, my vote for the Grayson in terms of how hot, I put it as a 6. I think it's a reach, but I think that if we have the season that we are hoping for, then yeah, he should be 100% in that conversation for Heisman.
So
But
real quick, just back to your Jolie thing. If you remember, Grayson's probably best years when he had Isaiah Lively, and so he loves his tight end. So I don't even think the Jolie thing is even a hot take. Like if I could give that a negative, like if I could give that as a cold take, I think that would be. I really firmly believe that Jolie is going to lead the team in touchdown receptions.
wow,
Because again, it's because or touchdowns, I guess maybe.
Sure.
Just because I think he's going to get that, he wants someone that he can come down as a chick. Because usually tight ends aren't your number one option unless you just have a stud like Kelsey. I mean, they'll run plays for him directly, but I feel like you'll have Grayson run through his progressions, and then he can always dump off. And I think Jolie is so athletic. He's insanely athletic.
Like just seeing little clips of him from fall camp is impressive. Like I'm ready to. And even the spring game, I'm ready to see them all. And give it 100%.
And even what he did last year against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you got Brian here in the chat saying Jolie is super legit, and Hunter saying survive September and watch out for us. Gives me chills.
That's a great take.
Yeah. So Michael, Kins, Greg, either of y'all have any hot takes before we move on to some tweets of the week here?
No, I'm the kind of guy, I just want to go win ball games. I'll play along if it's presented, but I'm not that creative to come up with quote unquote hot takes.
Agreed.
I just want this team to meet expectations and whatever those are, right? Because I feel like so many of us as NC State fans, here's my hot take. NC State fans won't be disappointed this year. There you go. I think that's my hot take.
So that means basically you're saying we win the AC title.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm ever going to handle losing the same again.
How have you handled it before? You've never handled it well.
After this past season, I just in everything. The past few months, I don't know how I'm going to react if we lose a game. So I need us to win the ACC.
Yeah,
I remember how I took the BC loss a couple of years ago at home when we lost on that bogus call. I literally I kind of freaked out my wife. She was like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "This is the most PO'd after a game I've ever been. Like I'm throwing my hat, I'm kicking it down the parking lot in PNC Arena West. I've never been so mad."
And it wasn't that we lost. It was that was going to break our home streak record.
Yeah, the home streak and how it was done on a crappy, pass interference on your home field, like all of that. Mm-hmm. And it was, what was it? It was Drake Thomas, wasn't it? Or was it Peyton Wilson? I can't remember.
It was Drake.
It was Drake. Yeah, he never does that crap. So all of that, I'd never been mad. So I don't even think, I think I would be that mad if we don't make an appearance in the ACC championship game this year.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, here's one thing though, kind of looking back at that game now and seeing what Zay Flowers has done in the NFL.
He's legit.
Does it kind of give you, does it kind of give you Calvin Johnson, Georgia Tech vibes in terms of?
Because we shouldn't have lost.
Well, I know, but
but
we lost, but we got upset by Georgia Tech because of Calvin Johnson.
Okay, can we say the same thing about Deebo Samuels when we played him in the opening game in Charlotte a few years ago?
No, because it wasn't because of Deebo. It was because.
I mean, he kind of ran one back on us.
Well, one back. But
the game was one score.
I know, but Zay Flowers dominated that game, man. He was ridiculous.
Zay Flowers dominated every game at Boston College. Like he was the guy.
He was
the only guy they had, really.
He was real.
I just think about some of the guys we've seen, like Stephon Diggs at Maryland before they left the conference, and just
I had no
some
idea.
of the play. What's that?
We had no idea he was going to be Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. So you watch these guys, and I think this is the one thing. Real quick sidebar. We're watching some games on TV, and my wife's like, "Oh, blah 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 blah." I said, "Yeah, you saw him in college." She's like, "We did," but she doesn't pay that close attention. I said, "Yeah, you saw him before he was before he was Lamar Jackson," and so that's the greatest. That's the greatest thing about going to college football is seeing these guys kind of just grow up and develop.
Yeah. So real quick before jumping tweets of the week, I saw Raleigh's Red. They posted screenshots of the matchup predictors for ESPN for each of the games. So Clemson, we have the lowest likelihood at 30.1%. And then second is Tennessee. We have a 30.6%. And then do y'all want to guess who the next lowest likelihood game is after Tennessee and Clemson per ESPN?
I would probably guess Syracuse.
Okay. What were we saying, Kent?
I'm going to say Virginia Tech.
We don't play Virginia Tech.
We don't play Virginia Tech.
Oh, we don't?
No,
I thought
we
we
don't play Virginia
did.
Tech. Michael, what's your guess?
Well, I saw it, so I know.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was Cal.
Yeah.
Cal
Because it's
actually,
a road game.
Cal's at
We do play Cal.
54.5% likelihood. Cal is.
Yeah.
So basically, per the ESPN, and then after that, we're favored in every other game. So even Syracuse, we're at 78% likelihood per ESPN. 78.
That's a little higher than I would think it would have been.
Really?
So basically, per ESPN, they're predicted. ESPN predicting us for 93.
Yeah, so for me this year, the two wild cards in this conference, because I'm not even counting SMU. I don't think they're getting a lot of hype, but I think their starters are really good. But I don't know if they got the ACC depth, right? I don't know if they can afford taking a hit literally in their starting. But I think the two teams, Syracuse is kind of wild because they have a first-year coach. They've got a decent quarterback coming in. They got Gadsden. I think their offense is going to be pretty good. Not so sure about their defense. But then Cal is one of those teams where like they've gotten a little love because they're rated pretty high on the transfer, had transfers coming in and, a quarterback that's been in the system for a couple of years. So I think Cal could do some damage, but their travel schedule sucks. Like I think between Stanford and Stanford and Cal, they're traveling like 20,000 miles each.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm just not scared of Syracuse unless it's in the Carrier Dome.
That's
I
true.
feel like if it was at Syracuse, then I would think we shouldn't be favored. But at home,
we haven't lost to Syracuse at home since 2013.
Yeah,
and we played them every other year at home. So
right.
You're
now
talking
in
5
Syracuse,
matchups.
It's like the Wake Forest. Like they have an Achilles heel on us. So I don't understand what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, y'all. So, with that being said, let's jump on over some tweets so we can specifically talk about the AP poll that came out today. Let's jump to it. All righty, y'all. So, again, the AP poll came out today, and NC State is going to start off the season number 24 in the country. And just to kind of give a little bit of summary from the ACC side, they have Florida State at number 10, Clemson number 14, and Miami number 19. And kind of a fun fact too is that we're the only school within the North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia like area that's ranked.
You can go Maryland. You can go as far as Maryland if you want to.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely.
And you can go out west for Kentucky and West Virginia, and yeah.
Well, Louisville's not ranked. Interesting. So here, Mackenzie, what was your first thought seeing NC State number 24?
I thought that we'd be around like the 15 through 20 range. I didn't expect us to be with the offense we have. I just didn't expect that, like with the transfers, all the talent we have coming in, all the big names we've had, like Noah Rogers, just all of the transfers. I just didn't see us going under 20. But I mean, every time we're ranked high, we do something to shoot us in the foot. So, I mean, I'm glad that people are doubting us because that's when we play our best football. So I'm fine with it.
Michael, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a little low. I think you always want to be ranked as high as possible to start the season. Just gives you more room for error. We lose to Tennessee in week 2, we probably are out of the top 25. If we started around 19 or 20, which I think is probably where we should be, you lose to Tennessee, you probably only drop, 2 or 3 spots to 22, 23. So that's a little tough. But, it's good to be ranked. I think it's only the second time the Adorn's team has started the season ranked. The other one was that 2022 season.
Yep.
Where we almost lost it to ECU.
Yeah.
Where we should have lost to ECU, honestly.
We should have lost to ECU.
But anyway, we'll take it. Again, that was when the NC State shit started.
I mean, bias, I think we're number 1. Easy.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. No.
We're going to end at number 1. That's my hot take.
Which I was listening today to. I was mowing the lawn this morning. I was listening to Joe Giglio and Joe Ovies, and they were talking about like the college football playoffs because they interviewed the head coach for App State and how, just a reminder that basically with now how the college football playoffs is set up, that basically there's the top ranked group of 5 team in the AP poll is guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff top 25.
There's not even a group of 5 team in this thing.
And there's not a group of 5 team in this thing, but also too that whoever that is would more likely have to face like basically like the winner of Oregon versus Ohio State, and it's like, oh boy, all right. So Greg, who do you think? Who's one team here that should be a lot lower, and who do you think is one team that should be a lot higher on this?
Yeah. So first, let me give you my take of where NC State's at on this poll.
Go for it.
Don't care. That's my hot take. I really don't. This is just for fun. It's important to get your name out there, I guess. But as we all know, it's the CFB playoff poll that really means anything.
True.
A lot of these people in the AP have never even played football, so this is sometimes a favorites game.
Yep.
But with that being said, you do want to be ranked high, but it's not where you start; it's where you finish. But to answer your question, who do I think is high? Seeing Kansas in a top 25, that I would think that this is a basketball poll, not a football poll. I feel like they might be a little high. It's interesting to see Southern Cal with as much as they put into that program and as much as they're paying Lincoln Riley that they're only 23rd. So there's probably a hot seat guy. I think Clemson's too high. I'm still just not impressed by Clemson.
No.
It's just ESPN with them, honestly. They're never going to have them under 15.
Yeah. Who do I think's too low? I'll go with State. I think to everyone's point, if you're gonna rank them, I would say anywhere from the 18 to 21 would be where I would probably have them. I know we lost to Kansas State last year, and so you probably can't put them ahead of Kansas State, right? Because you lost them in the bowl game. But every year is different. I just think with so much that State's brought in, the expectations,
Yeah. I mean, so for me, when I look at this list, there's one team that honestly screams out at me that's way too high in my opinion, and that's
I'm going to guess Michigan.
Not really, actually, not Michigan. I mean, like I'd probably put them like 10 to 15, but I mean, but to me, honestly, and this might be a little bit of a hot take here, so I'll get this ready for you guys. But
are you going to crush Eli Drinkowitz?
No, actually, I think Missouri should actually be higher. I think Missouri should be.
I did too. They're in that SEC.
They're in the SEC. They're returning almost everybody off on the offense from last year. That was just a prolific offense. Like that team is going to be really good. Like Missouri's a dark horse to win the SEC, in my opinion.
All right, well, I give up then.
But Florida State actually, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, there's just so many questions around DJ Uyunglele. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but quarterback's kind of an important position in football. And I'm looking at all these other teams with Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Bama, Texas, Notre Dame, Penn State. I'm saying, okay, I can think of all those quarterbacks, and I feel very, very confident that they're going to be able to run the offense effectively. I think that they can win games for their team. I'm looking at DJ. He's like the only game I could ever say that he's won for his team was against us and a little bit, when we played him at Clemson 2 years ago, because I mean that was by far his best game of his career. But it still wasn't even like that. Like it's not like he threw for 400 yards and had some had some sick stats. Like he just played very well, and that was enough to beat us. So, but I'm just sitting there like, yes, I understand that again, Florida State is stacked outside of quarterback. But I just can't put Florida State as a top 10 team when they have that big of a question mark at quarterback in terms of, can he deliver? Can he be much more accurate than he was at Clemson? And can he handle the light that's going to come with being the quarterback for Florida State? That's
right
my
after,
question.
After everything that happened, we're going to see how he is in the spotlight, because how he was in the spotlight at Clemson was not impressive. But
no. And
now
again,
he's going right back to it. Like, can he replace Jordan Travis and lead them to another ACC championship? Yep. I'm like you said, I'm not I've told multiple people I'm not impressed with him. Like,
He played in
No.
a weak Pac-12, like the
Yeah.
Pac-12, other than Oregon, and I mean Washington was good. You had two good teams in the Pac-12.
yeah,
I don't
I've
know.
just not seen, like, I've never watched a game and been like, he is legit.
Like,
I've never
I-
really been able to say that about him.
Like, honestly, I would not, like, if the AP poll had come out and like Florida State, Clemson, Miami, and State were within like a 7-spot like radius, I would have totally been like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I think those top 4 teams are like neck and neck, and any one of them can win the ACC this year. And I would still throw in Louisville. I would still throw in SMU into that, and Virginia Tech even into that conversation.
Yeah, so Louisville came in at 26, and Virginia Tech came in at 27. If you're
Get
looking
Iowa
at
off this list, please. Get Iowa off this list. What are we doing here?
Here's a crazy thought, though. Imagine you being Texas A&M. You're in the top 20, but you're the 9th best SEC team
Per AP poll, yeah, that's crazy.
per the 80 people. Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's insane.
And honestly too, because one other thing that's kind of interesting for Clemson, which kind of is going to set up interestingly in my season predictions, is the fact that Clemson has to face Georgia in week 1. Then they have to play App State at home, which do not sleep on App State.
Don't sleep on App State. Yeah,
don't sleep on App
I
State.
mean, we were scared. We didn't want to play them.
Right?
Yeah, right. Totally.
Oh my god, that really App State fans just irritate me.
But that App State game is the definition of a trap game. That is just setting up, like, for Clemson to get their teeth knocked in again by Georgia, and then have to come home all bloodied and beaten up, and have to face a App State team that's looking to really kick in some doors and make a case for a college football playoff group of 5 at large bid. So, just saying. So, yeah, so that's gonna be, and then after that they have to play us. So, gosh forbid if they lose Georgia and then lose to App State. Whoo! Like, I mean,
you might see a quarterback change.
Yeah,
bro. I mean, I don't disagree with you, but dude, that would be crazy. That would set ESPN on fire, man. What the heck would ESPN do if they can't talk about Cade Klubnik anymore? You know. Yeah. So anyway, I want to get to a couple comments here real quick. Yeah, Colby agrees with me. Take Iowa out, please. Like, yeah, come on.
Well, they have a new offensive coordinator, so they should be better this year.
But I think I saw like Cade McNamara, like they released like his like Saturday scrimmage stats, and he threw like a pick 6, had like he threw like 5 of 19 or something stupid like that. Like, so yeah, like
here's a hot take. They may not score as many points as they're ranked in the AP poll this year.
Yeah.
Probably.
Total in the season, Greg, or like per game? Yeah.
Per game.
Yeah.
Per game.
No. But yeah, so Hunter saying Penn State is the one that is overrated to me. I mean, again, James Franklin, you got to win some games.
He's got to do something this year.
You got to get it done, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's time. You got to get it done. Like that leash,
especially in a weaker Big Ten conference this year. Like the Big Ten is definitely down.
Much weaker. Much weaker.
Though they do have Oregon. I forgot they have Oregon now. So that is a Big Ten team now. I keep forgetting because all the changes. Right. But still, yeah.
Yeah. Nope. Agreed. So one tweet that kind of piggybacked was from Brad Crawford from 24 saying name recognition matters in preseason AP poll. Many beat writers know very little about other rosters. On paper, Clemson is not 10 spots better than NC State to open the season. In fact, if Clemson had NC State's offensive personnel, the Tigers are preseason top 10.
Easy.
I couldn't agree more. Simple as that. I mean, because again, like Cade Klubnik, everybody's saying, well, he has a lot of great freshman weapons coming in. I'm like, okay,
they're freshmen.
They're freshmen. Thank you, Greg. Exactly. They're freshmen. Like, okay, like so yes, they're going to make fresh mistakes. They're going to have to. They're going to get they're going to get thrown up against the wall in the first game against Georgia.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Yeah.
Welcome to college
against Kirby Smart and.
If I'm a freshman, I wouldn't want to play that game.
And who's
got a hammy, coach? Got a hammy.
The defensive analyst, Will Muschamp. They're gonna have to go against a Will Muschamp and a Kirby Smart defense in that first game. Like,
good luck.
Good luck to you, sir.
Glad
make sure you got both chin straps buckled because you're in for a fight.
It's gonna be rough.
And that's another question. How, like, God forbid injuries, but how would that look if their best players get injured before they go into App and us? Like, I feel like that would make our percentage go a lot higher in beating them. Like, I'm not hoping for it, guys. Don't.
I mean, they're going to really lean on Phil Maffa, I feel like, at least for the first couple of
Maffa's
games.
gonna get every ball.
But at this point, you load the box and you dare Klubnik to beat you. I mean,
Yep, exactly right. And again, I mean, like, come on, like, Aiden, like, okay, so, and because here's my other thing too: if Aiden White just does what Aiden White does, then I think if you're Tony Gibson, you just shift the safeties a little bit over towards Brandon Sissay side and dare Cade Klubnik to throw against Aiden White. Okay, all right, you have really good freshman weapons. Here's Aiden White. Best of luck to you. Like that. That's so. Yeah, again, Clemson being 10 spots ahead of us, 14, us 24 that's crazy. So
ludicrous.
So wanted to get to this fun tweet leak from Jeff Gravely talking about the new portable attachable seats at Carter Finley this year, which are definitely way nicer than the attachable seats of the past.
Look at us making money.
I know, right? Which, I mean, Ken, these seats have never applied to you, so I won't ask you about these seats. But Greg, being I'm sure an avid user of these seats, right? What are your thoughts on these babies?
Yeah. So the first year we had season tickets, we didn't go in with into these seat things, but then we quickly realized if you don't buy these, you lose space for your real seats because they take up so much space. So they forced our hand. Yeah, these look nice. These are the same ones that if anyone went to any of the baseball games at the Doak and sat up in the left field bleachers, they've actually used these up there, and they've gotten pretty decent reviews from what I understand. So I'm excited. But even where I sit in section 23, we don't really sit in our seats until like a commercial break. There really is no sitting at Carter Finley. So I just mainly gave a donation. And I have a seat if I want to use it because I don't ever use it. But I'm excited. They look nicer. So
yeah, agreed. Michael, any additional thoughts on the new seat backs before we jump on over to some student section rankings?
No, it definitely looks like an upgrade. So that's good.
Yeah, it looks a lot nicer for sure. And that's honestly too, that's actually one, I don't know if it's necessarily a tradition, but like I think it's one thing I think is really cool is about how the NC State ROTC programs actually is the one who puts out all those chairs in the stadium. So I don't know if necessarily if that's considered a tradition, but I think that's a really cool thing.
It's their fundraiser for anyone that didn't know. They get paid to actually do that. So that's how they raise money for their organizations.
Good, cool. That's awesome. All right, so I got to talk about this. So this ACC student section rankings, and
I'm definitely curious who made this. I think I know who did it. I'm actually looking it up right now.
I was gonna say, isn't it Wolfpack Vishnu
that's who exactly? That's my guy.
Well, he made the cities one. That got everybody.
Yeah,
y'all better not be saying that this is wrong.
I don't see this as listed by him. So
because if you do, I'm logging out.
Well, all right.
You're easily the best student section.
See, the reason I think it's him because he did this one about rivalries and it looks very similar.
Right.
So, but I don't see it on his timeline, so I don't know if it's an older one.
It was an NC State fan
account.
It's
definitely an NC State fan account. It 1,000%.
Yes. So, all right. NC State number 1. All right. Here's my gripe again, and I've talked about this 100 times over. But again, the student section has definitely gone down a notch without the band on their side. It's just
you're not gonna let that go, are you?
I'm not gonna let that go because again, it's a significant difference. You know what I mean in terms of the involvement that the student section has. Because again, there's not that one entity or that one person, aka talking about the mic man guy, to basically get everybody doing a cheer together. It's kind of like, oh wait, what's going on? Oh yeah. Wolfpack first down, Blue Chains. So it's just. But I mean, again, there's no doubt that. That the student section is phenomenal, to say the least, for sure. But I'd probably have them like 2 or 3. I don't know if I'd have it 1, but
I mean, with DJ Trails, you don't need the band over there.
True.
It gets you hype.
Well, to get him hype, but again, like to do all the cheers and the stuff like that, like even getting like the Wolfpack is.
We could never really. even with the band over there, we could never really match the band. Like, we're very offbeat. Carter Finley is just an
No
offbeat.
kidding.
Too many white kids? Is that what you're saying?
So it's
Hey, easy.
I don't wherever the band is, we just cannot stay together when we're doing the fight song or anything. So I don't really blame that. But
Yeah,
I
no.
feel like it's a picture bringing.
I feel like they're pretty rowdy. I've been to
Absolutely.
I've been to every ACC school now, with the exception of Florida State, and then Georgia Tech, which I hope to cross off the list. I feel like I mean, if we're not one, we're definitely probably top three.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
I think Virginia Tech's too low. I think Virginia
Yes.
Tech is probably 3.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
no.
Clemson might be too high. I think Clemson might be too high.
Ooh. See, my
I think
top
Miami needs to be on there.
You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that. They got better things to do than
there
go
you
to a football game.
no.
That's 45 minutes away from campus.
Tier 1 is
crazy.
NC State, Clemson, Virginia Tech. Now, how you rank them?
Yeah.
Like I could
Yeah,
probably
I would
but,
agree with that. Yeah,
but-
those three.
But if NC State, Clemson, Virginia Tech are not in your top 3, your list is just incorrect.
Here's the thing I want to say about this. I feel that NC State, Clemson, and Virginia Tech, their students show up no matter how good the team is or isn't.
Exactly.
I feel Florida State is very bandwagony. Louisville is definitely bandwagony.
Yeah, Louisville.
Because there was nobody there like 3 years ago when we went there, or maybe 4 years ago.
I mean, but Clemson, you've never really had to
I don't even know where they're at. I don't really know where the student section's
like
at there.
Clemson, you're saying I think
It's on the hill.
And
Come on,
State
Greg.
The hill,
that
right?
go-
Yeah.
I would assume, I guess that's what it is.
I think
It
that
is.
it's NC State and Virginia Tech that show up no matter what. Because I feel like
Yeah.
if Clemson pulled like a season like Carolina, or a season where they just went like 500 or a little over 500, the student section will not be there. I think they'll be focused on basketball.
It's hard to say.
I just like, because we
Hard to
haven't
say.
had to witness that. But I
Right,
really
they've been
think,
good for so long.
yeah, State
Yeah.
and Virginia Tech, we definitely have some of the best fans.
I mean, we really haven't stunk since 2019.
And that student section was still pretty like at least over half full in 2019, even with how bad we were. So, I mean,
Yeah. So, but again, I mean, I think a lot of it though too, honestly, what helps our case is tailgating for students is such an event, and it's so easy to get to that it's just kind of like just a natural transition to be like, hey, come to this awesome tailgate that we have just for students, and then you just naturally just kind of drift your way over to the football stadium and watch the football game, and you only get 7 opportunities a year, so
or you do what me and Hannah do and show up 4 hours before the gates open and just drink outside of the gate to get front row seats.
I love it.
There you go.
The dedication. I love
That's
it.
what we do.
Drink water, right? Drink water to stay
Hell
hydrated.
No.
Yeah.
We drink water during the game.
Yeah.
Good.
So anyway, want to talk a little bit of baseball actually here, real quick. Hunter saying Clemson is better than us. I don't know about FSU or VT. I haven't been to either place yet. Yeah.
VT was lit. Like VT was really
lit.
good.
VT's
VT's
lit.
hype.
And Rob saying, you guys hear that the Texas A&M running back is out for the season? I've not heard that, but
Texas and Texas A&M both lost their running backs.
Yeah, I saw Texas
Ouch.
did.
Ouch.
That sucks.
All right, so one more, talking a little bit of baseball here, guys. So basically kind of a little bit of a flippy do that just happened here with NC State baseball where say again. Go ahead, Greg.
No,
I didn't say anything.
That's a good way to put it, though.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
It's a technical term, a flippity-do.
A flippity-do happened where Dalen Thompson, who was a outfielder transfer from Campbell, who committed even before we actually went to the World Series, decided to return to Campbell for his last season, and then we got a JUCO transfer named Jet Gilliam, who was over like 330 hitter, was a prolific hitter in at the JUCO level. So again, I think Elliot Avent, once again, great job. To have that backfield. I'm sure that that Jet Gilliam committing wasn't, it's not like that he basically heard that it's not like Avent necessarily had Dalen Thompson as that saying, oh, he's decommitting. Oh, well, let me go ahead and start the process of going elsewhere. I'm sure that Avent, had his options open.
those
Yeah.
fires were lit a long time ago.
Yes.
Don't take it as Dalen Thompson, quote unquote, dissing us or doing whatever. There's probably some underlying things that caused him not to come to state, and
Okay.
we're going to be okay.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, yeah. No. I mean, yeah. No. I mean, again, you're bringing in a guy who was a 330 hitter, and was a great, phenomenal hitter at the JUCO level.
Yeah.
So,
and I think I was reading that JUCO conference or whatever he played in is a wooden bat league too. So he's doing that with a wooden bat, not a metal bat.
Interesting. Okay, I like it. So yeah, Hunter in here in the chat saying, "Sorry, I'm commenting so much. Y'all got me hyped. Philip Rivers days away from causing an earthquake in Carter Finley. Let's go."
Oh my gosh, the first game being a night game makes me so freaking happy.
Well, it better be a night game. It's Thursday, so it can't be a new game on a Thursday, Kens.
It could be.
Also,
I would skip class or work.
State baseball picked up a couple of commits for 26 as well.
Yeah, high school guys.
Yep. So, the pipeline is continuing. Also, in other baseball news, people may not have heard, but Wynn Scott, former Pac-9 player, he committed to San Jose State over the weekend. So he followed Coach Josh Pike out there, who was an assistant on Avent staff. So,
Interesting. Good to know. Yeah, I didn't see that. That's awesome. Appreciate that, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all. So again, I mean, it's just awesome sitting here that we're just over 2 weeks away from the first football game, and that's gonna be so awesome. I got, and I'm telling y'all, like from all the reports we've been hearing about practice, like I'm just ready to see it all come together. I'm just ready to watch.
This defense is gonna be deep. This defense is
gonna be deep.
I'm excited for Sean. I'm ready to see Sean Brown.
I'm ready to see Jonathan Taylor. I'm ready to see Jonathan Taylor. I'm ready to see Noah Rogers. I'm ready to see Grayson McCall with that mullet sticking out of his football helmet. Like I'm ready to see all of that. And then
mullet.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And like 2 weeks from today, like I'll be like knee deep in prepping tailgate food, and
I'm so excited for Greg's food.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm dealing with a pinched nerve right now, so I'm trying to get this thing healed up for tailgate season. So I'm trying not to go on injured reserve before the season starts, but we'll get it going.
Going into reserve. I like it. So anyway, y'all. So again, y'all, if you haven't already, y'all hit that subscribe button. If that subscribe button is lighting up for you, that means you are not subscribed. So please do us a big favor. Hit that subscribe button, y'all. So that way
Why is mine lighting up? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, let's go. So, and again, y'all, if you haven't already, make sure when you hit that subscribe button, you also hit that little notification bell icon. So that way you're notified whenever we release any new NC State content. So again, we got a ton of content coming up here. Specifically, we have our season predictions coming up here, which are going to be a lot of fun. So
I wonder what mine are going to be.
So what's more fun, us doing them or going back to the end of the season to reviewing them? Because,
I mean,
no,
we actually did good last year.
You still have hope.
Yeah. We nailed them. I think all but one of us got the exact record right.
So, but
I don't even remember.
But how we got there was
how we got there. That doesn't matter. The math didn't matter.
Like we predicted like a route like this, and basically the season went like.
It's like Devin said. It's like Devin said. It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, y'all. And if you haven't already, please do us a big favor as well and hit that like button. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us, please do us a big favor as well and leave us a 5-star review. Greatly appreciate that support as well. And make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. This is going to be a ton of fun. Excited to get rolling here. And also, too, y'all, NC State women's soccer starts this week. Soccer season starts this week. So
athletic season's ready.
So again, NC Athletics starts this week, y'all.
And that's another thing. Going far in the NCAA tournament, you don't have that many days without sports.
That's right. I know it's a beautiful thing.
Like that.
It's a great thing.
It's a quick turnaround. It's a
very quick turnaround. I love it.
All right, Wolfpack Nation. So again, appreciate y'all tuning in. This was a lot of fun. We are going to be counting it down. We are excited for it. Let's go get it done and go Pack, y'all.